You're all doing well this morning. Let me get in here and make sure that I'm sharing this stream because we want everybody to be able to find us. Oh, good morning, Glory. Say hello to everyone. Yeah, happy girl. You hear me talking and you're like, okay, I hear you talking. I want on camera. Oh, let me turn that down. And then we'll share this to our group. Morning came early today. I hope you're all doing well. Okay, there we go. We got that shared. There's some stories going around today that have my interest. Um, the big one is Ukraine. They are changing their They're changing their conscription rules to take people who are under the age of 25. They're coming up against some shortfalls, it appears. So, yeah, that's a big story for them. They're running out of soldiers, so they have to start taking younger people there in Ukraine. That needs a diplomatic solution. It absolutely needs a diplomatic solution. Just looking at some of the other. Have you guys heard about this? I believe it's an Army 2-star who he's accused of sexual assault, and I touched on it a little bit on a previous stream, but that guy he tried to retire to not face prosecution. And that just shows you why sexual assaults were taken away from the military, because you had people who were getting out and just avoiding any real consequences from a sexual assault. It's such complete and total BS that it was allowed to go on for so long as it did. Now the military, as of this year, the military cannot prosecute these things. So it's taking it out of their hands. So I think you'll start seeing this stuff. You'll start seeing more and more people getting convicted and doing jail time and not being allowed to hide in the open, because that's what was happening previously. Did any of you guys check out DUI Guy's stream last night? He did 4 of them yesterday. I only watched the one where he went through John and Lynette's response. I'm interested in where your thoughts lie with that. Let me just see. Can I tell? Okay. Oh, okay, so it looks like we got some people here from Facebook. Awesome. That's a couple from Twitter, a couple from YouTube. Welcome. I'm just going through. Oh, did you see this island collapse? I saw a video of it. It wasn't the greatest video. That out in Taiwan, part of an island collapsed, and you could see like this mountain on an island, and like half it was just gone. It was because of the earthquake, and apparently it's been unstable before. I don't know if it's actually like a volcano or anything like that, but that was pretty cool. Oh, here we go. Right where I am, a man who identified as a Chinese national, or a man identified as a Chinese national, sorry, forced his way through the gate at Marine Corps' largest live fire combat training base last week before being detained by military officials, service and federal officials said. So that's right here at McCagsey, 29 Palms. And yeah, so we got the Chinese able to get their way on. And that guy wasn't shot. We've already had 2 incidents in the last 12 months. One guy was trying to run the base. He got shot. He was unarmed, And then we had where another guy, his vehicle was able to run through the gate, and they pulled a pit maneuver on the wrong car, and they killed a child. So yeah, that's how good 29 Palms is. I swear to God, the MPs there are like the freaking Keystone Cops. They have every 4 to 6 years there'll be some scandal, and they get rid of all the leadership, and then but the civilian leadership stays. The civilian leadership stays. And then new people are brought in, and they have the same problems. It's like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I did see this one, the last survivor of the USS Arizona. He passed away on Sunday, I believe. Lou Conter. So we're losing them. We're losing the heroes. I'll have to look up where he was at when he passed away. I don't know if he was here in Southern California or where he lived. Just looking at some of these stories here. I've got a whole thing. If you follow me on Twitter and you're like, where are you getting all these stories? I've got two lists. I've got one of military stories, and then I've got one of just news and information stories. So I'm big on lists because for Twitter, it's a really good way for them to organize everything. So there are days where I've got various interests, so I'll just follow these lists. I follow if someone has a good list, I'll follow them. Like there's a Legal Eagles list that someone else has, and I follow them. I follow their list, and it's a great list because it's all these lawyers and attorneys, and I'll go in there and see what type of things they're talking about. Yeah, did y'all watch the DUI guy stream? I thought that was pretty interesting. So with John and Lynette and their court case, they'd done a motion to dismiss Jeremy Hale's YouTube personality. His lawyer did a counter, and then they did a notice of correction. Now, it was pretty interesting because while I'm very interested about law and legal stuff, and I've sat in court for hours on various stories, I'm not the most knowledgeable about it. So I love learning, and I was learning watching his stream last night because I don't know all that back and forth. Like, I'll watch when they discuss the motions, but rarely ever do I get to go into the back and forth and watch any analysis on it. And that's what he was doing last night. So I was really appreciative of it. And it was very interesting. He was saying what they were doing was just it just was not needed. That they were just doing, pretty much, and I can see this from them. There's people out there who don't like to be told that they're wrong. So what happens is when people like that do something, and in a normal process, like in court, where you're like, okay, no, they're wrong. Here's what it is. Their tendency is to lash out. And that just shows it's a way of them showing that they're not confident in their position. They can't take criticism about their position, and that's what I was saying from John Lynette. So it was pretty interesting. I can absolutely see that from them, that they're not the type who can take any type of, they can't take any constructive criticism at all. They can't take, let me move that. Sorry, I'm just doing some production stuff. They can't take any criticism, which is going to be a big problem for them when they get into court, because when you have a lawyer. Lawyers are there to debate. They're there to argue. That's what they're paid for. And they're gonna poke holes in your arguments. It's your job to defend them and not just straight up attack. And they're used to attacking. That's why they're in the position that they are. That's their natural thing is, you know, Jeremy says, no, you can't come to my event and use my followers to make money. So they start posting negative stuff about him. And I find it funny, like with them this whole time, because I started following about this time last year. It was actually March, like end of March, early April, when I really started getting invested in that whole situation. I was concerned about the town. But then they started doing their stuff, and it made me seek out because he was talking about, I'm not going to give this person any attention. They're posting negative things. And I had already joined Brett Granger's Spotlight of Otter Creek, and I saw that he had posted some stuff about people saying negative things. And that's when I really started taking attention as to what John and Lynette were doing. And that's their natural inclination. Someone says anything, you know, not even critical of them, just something that they don't like, they're going to attack. I was laughing because in the uncensored group, hold on, let me pull up the uncensored group because yeah, I do have a spy account in the uncensored group. So let's see what they're talking about this morning. Because yeah, these people, these are their defenders. These people are straight up nuts. Let's see. And you know what? I might be in the wrong account. I think I'm in the wrong account. Let me take a look. Oh, okay, yeah, I got the wrong thing up here. So we'll take a look. But yeah, they had posted some stuff yesterday, just dumb stuff. They were talking about why hasn't there been a gag order? Hey, good morning, Beverly. Why hasn't there been a gag order in the Florida case? Well, first off, it's an injunction. It's a case about an injunction, and they do have a temporary injunction. But a gag order, what's the purpose of a gag order? What's the purpose of it? The purpose of a gag order is one, to protect a child, or two, to protect a jury. That's a bench trial. There's no need for a gag order. The other thing I've seen gag orders for are like trade secrets type stuff. And also FISA court stuff, like national security. There's normally like a generalized gag order for that stuff. Yeah, that's why there's a gag order. Let me get some more coffee here. I won't be far. I just wanted to get a quick warmer. You guys get to see my kitchen. I don't normally record out here. It's just some great lighting this morning because we got the morning sun. But yeah, there's no reason for a gag order. Just because you don't like what Jeremy's saying doesn't mean it's any justification for a gag order. That's, what do you want? Go lay down. Go lay down. I got the dog here. Are you coming up? What do you want? Here she is. Good morning. Yeah. You're not as cuddly as what you were yesterday. Yesterday, all you wanted to do was cuddle. But this morning, it's just intermittently want my attention. Oh, it's because the cat, normally you guys play in the mornings, and the cat's up on top of this cat tree. I think there might be some hummingbirds out there. But yeah, like, these dummies, they were like, there should be a gag order. Like, no, there shouldn't. It's inappropriate for a gag order. Courts will do the minimum. I was talking with someone yesterday, actually a good friend of mine from back from Ohio. Courts, if there's any way for them not to act, they will not act. If there's any reason for them not to give a decision on a case, they won't give a decision. I guess it's because that it goes back to the heavy hand of justice type of thing. They will always, if they can, they'll have a bias for inaction. And so if you get a court order, most times it's because you've proven that this is warranted, absolutely warranted. But yeah, in many cases, if a decision doesn't have to be made, like you can make all the motions you want, but if a decision does not hinge upon the case, the judge won't do it. It's the same thing like with that Florida case. I told people months ago when it was filed, I said, this is going to get dismissed for lack of standing. And sure enough, it was. I'm on a Disney fanatics group in Facebook, so you can go in there and look up my old comments. But yeah, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a loss because it's going to get dismissed. It wasn't a loss because they ruled against Disney's merits. They said there's no reason for us to look at the merits. So again, there's no action. The court was not taking any action, and I've seen that so many times from the courts. Good morning, Barbara. Oh, you're from the UK. Where in the UK are you from? You know what? While I'm out today, I might buy a world map. I want to get a world map and a United States map. I think I might move some stuff around in my room so you guys can kind of see it when I do the live streams there. And I want to put a pin in where everyone who jumps into my streams, so I can track where all you guys are from, because eventually we're going to get the show on the road. I'm going to take this show and start traveling around. I'm going, not this summer, but next summer I am going to take a trip to Greece. We want to see some of the sites from ancient Greece. So I don't want to say that will be my next trip, because I actually might be taking a business trip to Southeast Asia. I've been to Asia. I haven't been to Southeast Asia. Closest I've been was Dubai. Well, actually, if you've ever seen me post that picture where I'm on the top of a mountain, you can see this winding road behind me. That was taken Thanksgiving Day of 2014. We hiked up that mountain. That was not a fun hike, but that was actually on the border with Oman. So that actually is, I believe that. I'm drawing a blank on the town at the moment, but that was the furthest east in Asia that I've been. But it was a hell of a hike. That's the man who led us was a retired Australian SAS general, and man, that guy loved mountain climbing. That was him and his sons. That's what they did to stay in shape. I am not a mountain climber, even though I live here in Joshua Tree. I just have no one to do that stuff with. I don't like hiking. I joke. I said, I've got people who are like, let's go hiking, let's go camping. I'm like, yeah, the Marine Corps kind of ruined both for me. So I need a reason to do either one. Going for, 10-mile hikes just is not my idea of fun, because I've done it with over 100 pounds packed on my back and carrying a 10-pound rifle. Not the best thing in the world. So how the Marine Corps has ruined me on top of all of my medical issues. In fact, I'm going down. I've got a medical issue. I'm going down to the VA hospital today. I might do a video or live stream. I haven't decided yet. I've kind of beat up that VA system down there. and the lack of care that they've given. But I am going to be there. Um, we'll see what they have. I might do a live stream from their lobby and just see how people react to that. Because whenever you pull out a camera, people, and I was talking about this with the same person yesterday. Whenever you pull out a camera, there are people who are just, they believe that you can't record them. And it's like, if you're in public, anyone can record you. You're in public. You have to create your own privacy. Once you're on private property, the laws vary. They vary state to state. But the Supreme Court has already said if you're in public, anyone can record you. And because people have this false belief, and as you've seen on my channel, I've been physically attacked by people who, the only reason I know in the one case, the one that's actually up on the channel, if you go in my harassment and corruption, you'll see it's attacked over a service dog. That's the name of the video. The only reason that guy attacked me is because I had my camera out. Now, I was smart enough that I was doing exactly what I'm doing here. I had the camera pointed at me. People, if they went behind me, there was a way for them to go around and not be on camera. But if they went behind me, they weren't going to be on camera. So if they were on camera, it was because they put themselves there. And I was very cognizant when I was doing it. In fact, I even say it in the video. It's like almost a 2-hour long stream, where I say, this could get bad. I was actually waiting for the sheriff because the guy told me I was trespassing. I said, okay, that's fine. Contact the sheriff. They'll come out. They will trespass me. Because what they do is they have to tell me to leave and give me a trespass warning, a physical thing. But I would have asked for the incident number, because then I could have made a California civil rights complaint and said, here's my incident number. This guy denied me service at his restaurant because he was unhappy that I had my service dog and started harassing me. And he would have gotten fined by the California Civil Rights, I think it's the Civil Rights Administration. That's what would have happened. But instead, the guy actually attacked me. And he eventually had to close up his business. From what I understand, he still owns the building and another restaurant leases from him. So I did not take away his livelihood or anything like that. But he will not harass another disabled person. That's what this show is about. It's about helping others. So that's why I get people who are like, why are you doing this? You're just trying to start a fight. I wasn't trying to start a fight. I was just trying to get that incident number for the sheriff's responding, and I would have left, and I would have not come back to that place. I didn't need to do that because, even after I told the cops, they were like, well, you can't come back. I go, oh yeah, I knew that when you guys were called. I knew I would never be able to come back here, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But he would never harass another disabled person, and that was my goal. Barbara, I just noticed I'm drinking my Union Jack cup. My one friend who lives in the UK, I went there to visit, and she had this. She had a bear that was dressed as the back then the Queen was still alive, so it was dressed as the Queen's Guard, and then there were like candies and stuff in there. She made this little basket for me visiting. I was there for her sister's wedding, and so I've got my Union Jack cup, which is actually from the UK. The Leonardo Collection is the name of the place here. You might be able to read it. It's upside down. But yeah, so I've got my UK mug. I gotta get more mugs. I'm just gonna order some off veterannation.com, veterannationfoundation.com. Show it. Show. There we go. As you can see right down here, that is our nonprofit website. Go there. You can buy some of our merchandise. I do have a couple mugs. I've got the one I've, I've got one about green bean coffee, and then the other one I've got is Veterans Before Illegals. So those are the two mugs. Oh, and then obviously my Veteran Nation logo mug. That one's a travel tumbler. You may have seen I've already got one of those, but I gotta get the ceramic mugs. The green bean coffee is when you're deployed. Uh, that's was the contractors. They brought up a local coffee. They brought up a coffee shop to be your local coffee shop, and yeah, it was called the Green Bean. And we had one. It was actually on the British side of our base, but we would go there. I remember that was in 2010. We watched the U.S. play England in the World Cup, and we all gathered there in the middle of the night and watched it. The U.S. actually won. I was shocked about that. I didn't think we would win, but we did. But yeah, so green bean coffee for anyone who's been deployed, that normally holds a special place in our hearts. I saw someone, they said something. I mentioned being deployed the other day, and they were on there talking about how they would hang out at Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons, that's how Canadians tell. That's how Canadians tell directions. Is okay. Well, you go here to this Tim Hortons, then you drive down. They're like our McDonald's, and it's actually owned by Burger King. Uh, I would actually love to own Tim Hortons. I've looked at franchising because there's a lot of businesses that want veterans to open franchises. I really would like to own a Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is really expensive though. My favorite though is Caribou, but I don't think they do your traditional franchising, and I don't think they actually want to come out here to the Southwest. That's a very Midwest U.S. thing. It was started in Minnesota, but if you ever see a Caribou Coffee, do their campfire coffee. It's essentially a s'more. Which okay, we got Barbara in here. She's from the UK. S'mores you guys don't have, and you should have. In fact, for the couple that got me this, I sent them uh, for the gentleman's birthday. I sent him a little s'more kit, and so it came with Hershey's chocolate. It came with graham crackers and marshmallows and a little like fondue thing where you put a candle inside. And what we do s'mores is where we roast marshmallows. You know, you hold them over the open flame, get them nice and crispy, and then you put them in between a graham cracker and a piece of chocolate. And let me just say, it is awesome. Everyone from the UK I've ever had try s'mores, they're like, "Oh my god, these are great." I'm like, "Yep." There's a couple things us Americans have figured out. S'mores is one of them. Oh, oh. I I've got a couple things here. Like I've got one of my little uh, screwdrivers, and I put my coffee mug partially on it, and it rolled out from underneath it and almost spilled my coffee. Yeah, didn't it? I got Gloria. She badly wants my attention. 20 miles north of Manchester, a little town called Ramsbottom. Very nice. Very nice. Um, so I, when I was in the UK, my friends, we were in Warwickshire. My friends, they were married in a town called Redditch, which is south of Birmingham. And I stayed in the town of Rugby, which is actually where rugby was invented. And beautiful, you know, you think of the English countrysides, like my preconceived notions about what the English countryside looked like. Oh my God, it met exactly. The the cottage where they had their wedding reception was beautiful. Um, The church was right there in Redditch. I believe it was a former castle. I know it was a medieval church because everything was carved stone and whatnot, and that was beautiful. Uh, and then we did, I stayed for a couple days. I got to go to Stratford upon Avon and see Shakespeare, his his home. Got to see his burial place, and then where else did we went to Warwick Castle, which that was cool. Uh, very very interesting. So yeah, that was my visit. Oh, and then we finished up in London. Got to see obviously the Tower of London. That was the one thing I really wanted to see. Um, but yeah, we went around that. London. If I go back, I'm probably going to go with either my son or my brother. London was fun. It's it's. I mean, it's so much like the American cities, though. I was more into seeing the countryside because that's where it's different. Like, I am not used to those narrow roads. They were driving, and I was so scared with that we'd come around a blind curve and hit somebody. But yeah, I did enjoy that. Um, so yeah, and I've told them that if I do go back, if me and my brother go there, we want to go up to Scotland for a little bit. We want to definitely go to a distillery. We like whiskey. Let me get some more coffee. I drink mine black. There we go. So this coffee is Indies coffee, and you should check out. It's they have great coffee. It's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran who owns the company, Brandon. I've had him on the show. I've interviewed him. Oh, hold on here. I have to put out my trash. You guys get to come with me. I just heard the trash guy coming down the road. So let's go do that. But yeah, Brandon from Indies Coffee, great guy. I've interviewed him. They make really good coffee. Really good. Yep. Oh yeah, there's the garbage truck. I know you guys are getting some interesting video this morning. Why is he just sitting down there? He's just sitting down at the end of the road. I normally put these out at night, but the wind was blowing really hard last night. The dog went outside, and I was like, okay, I'm just going inside. I'll wake up and do this in the morning. And forgot about it. Okay. Well, that is done. Here is the kitty on top of his his cat tree, and I've got the hummingbird feeder on that's my my Roomba. So I've got the hummingbird feeder right outside of the window so the cat can look at the hummingbirds. He enjoys that. He is a hunter. He is definitely a hunter. This is not positioned the way I wanted it. There we go. Oh wait, no, it's not. There. A little bit better. Any big stories you guys want to talk about this morning? I was only able to watch the DUI guy yesterday. I was unable to check to see what's going on with Megan Fox or any of them. So if there's anything I need to check out on their channels, let me know. I will. Let me go to my news and information because I was talking with my mom this morning before I came on live stream, so I haven't been through all of the news. I normally turn on like one of the news channels and have that in the background, but nah, I just didn't want the distraction today. Uh, uh, there's some crazy things that I saw that were happening yesterday. I love these hack media sites. This one's Yahoo News. Former President Donald Trump's fledgling media business is losing sheen among investors, with a sharp reversal of the company's stock lopping 3.8 billion off. Okay, the share price uh, is trading at $15. Okay. They thought it was going to be at $17. So yeah, has it fallen? Yeah, it's fallen, but it fell back down to about, because so they initially said it was going to be about $17, and that's where people were expecting it to be. Then when people actually started being able to invest, it went up to over $40. Then when it went public, it went up to $70, and it's since come down to $50. So it's not fledgling. Like everyone thought it was only going to be worth $17 a share, and it's at 50. Like that is how you can pick out these shill media sites. Like they don't even cover it up. They just make themselves look stupid. Gaza, I'm bored with that. Yeah, AI needs a lot of electricity, oil, and gas. Well, actually, we just need to start investing in nuclear power. It is by far the most efficient, and it's not even close. Okay, so this is a story that a friend of mine knows the family. This is out here in San Bernardino. She's trying to get me the video. Apparently, it's gone viral. I was trying to look for it, and I could not find it. This story is coming out of KTLA. San Bernardino sheriff to address deadly use of force encounter. So okay, he later died. When I talked to my friend, this guy was still alive, but he was beaten really badly by the sheriffs. So San Bernardino Sheriff Shannon Discus will hold a news conference Wednesday to provide details regarding a lethal force encounter that left a man dead in Victorville. Now that's like an hour away from where I am. Incident occurred around 9:30 p.m. Tuesday when authorities responded to a call of an unwanted person at a Victorville home, Sheriff's Department stated in a news release. A lethal force encounter occurred after deputies arrived, and a male subject was later pronounced deceased. I just went and looked, and the only video I could find was called "Service Dog Harassment." The audio was so poor. Okay, so if you look in the description of that one, there is the video with better audio. The unedited has better audio quality. I didn't realize when I recorded that it was so bad, but it was when people started responding to me. It was already up on the same playlist. Let me find it here. Just bear with me. I do have it. Okay, it's not in the harassment and corruption. It's in service dog harassment playlist. Okay, so right here you'll see attacked over a service dog. Okay, that's it. And then the unedited is attacked over service dog in 29 Palms. So I apologize. I've gotten the title mixed up a bit. Those are the two. There's the edited version, which just shows the highlights, and then there is the unedited, which is the full live stream. I was on Facebook Live, and I just downloaded it, and it caught everything. And so San Bernardino Sheriff, we're talking about this story. San Bernardino Sheriff, because I'm in San Bernardino County, they denied me access to the 911 call. So they said it was uh, that it was investigatory records. The investigation is long done. They will not give it to me. Um, I've considered doing a lawsuit just to get up. It just it gets expensive doing lawsuits, even if I drop the case. Um, so if anyone wants to do their own open records request on that, the 911 call will show that those two people who attacked me, they called and they threatened to kill my service dog. So that's why I want that. It's simply for knowledge and for people to be able to see what really happened. But yeah, and part of their one of their 911 calls, it happens during, or my 911 call happens during the attack. Like while they were attacking me, I had my phone. I had my head down. And I had my phone. I'm calling 911, and I scream into the phone. They're attacking me. They're attacking me. And that's when the woman's like, "Where's this dog at? Let's get his dog." So they were not good people. They were POSs. But I am trying to get that. I would like to get that 911 call for this channel, simply so that other people who have service dogs know this is this is like how crazy it can get sometimes, where people who just don't like that you have your dog, they will go to extremes. Sorry, I'm hearing a really loud vehicle come by. I don't get a lot of vehicles that drive by my house. I'm way out in the desert. Non-binary Canadian seeks public funding for surgery to create vajayjay while preserving his peen. I swear to God, that's just mental illness. Um, Gen Z doesn't care for table manners and refuses to stop doing this one thing. It's phones. They refuse to put down their phone at the dinner table. Me, I really don't care if you're going to be on your phone. Just don't try to have a conversation. Like if you're going to sit there and just be on your phone, just be on your phone. It's not going to bother me. But don't try to have a conversation while being on it. Like if I do that, I apologize to the person. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just got to reply. Uh, but I really don't care if people being on their phones. It's like people are like, oh, everyone with these phones. Back in the day, it was newspapers. Everyone's sitting, there's pictures of everyone on the train. Everyone's holding a newspaper, not talking to each other. But people have rose-colored goggles looking back, thinking that, oh, yeah, people didn't have that yet. You're just reading it on your phone now instead of reading it in the newspaper. And when you were done reading, people would do the crosswords. So don't think that the games are anything different. I just don't take it personally. Some of these, isn't it crazy about that earthquake in Taiwan with the buildings that are leaning? That is some scary stuff. Very scary. Boston Red Sox, don't care. Trump says Election Day will be Christian Visibility Day. What the hell was Biden thinking when he declared Easter Sunday to be Trans Visibility Day? Such total disrespect to Christians, and November 5th is going to be something else. Christian Visibility Day. He is trolling. He's just doing that just to get the headlines. Trump is a master media manipulator, I will tell you. Okay. Well, I don't really understand that story. I'm just going through and seeing what I read today. Do have a lovely countryside. We have Peel Tower near us, a monument to Sir Robert Peel, who brought in our police force. They were called Bobbies. He was a local lad. Okay. When you say it's a tower, is it like a water tower? Is it like an obelisk? Is it like old school, like medieval tower. What type of tower is it? I'll look it up when I'm done going through this stuff. I'm just trying to get up to date on today's news. I do this every day. I'm addicted to information. I really am. I you want to drive me crazy? Take away all the news stations and stuff. In car, Turkey. I've been there. Okay, reindeer. Bunch of these stories. This must be a slow news day. The world's oldest man is dead at 114. You're from Clare, Michigan. I'm trying to think where Clare is. I went to Eastern Michigan University. I lived down in a town called Milan, down in southeast Michigan. I was looking for a video concerning attack over service dog in a restaurant. I don't know if when I upload this stuff, I wasn't as savvy with YouTube as what I was. It is on my service dog harassment video. Maybe I'll go in and start adding some of that stuff to the descriptions, but I was not as savvy about YouTube and how to put things to get attention when I first was actively posting to the YouTube channel, and that's when that came about. I really had just converted from using it as an archive. And I didn't have any subscribers then. I had like less than 100 subscribers when I posted that. 30 miles north of Mount Pleasant. Okay, I knew I had heard of it. CMU, I've been there. We played Central Michigan several times. That is a very cold place to play. Mount Pleasant in November, the wind ripping through that stadium, it chills you to the bone. But yeah, I played the Chippewas up there. And we hung out in East Lansing. And I also dated a girl who was originally from Grand Ledge. So I have been up there. So I was wondering, I couldn't remember where it was from, but I know I had heard it. So yeah. Sounds like my garbage men are finally getting here. Michigan State University. Yep. That's why we went to East Lansing, was to party up there at Michigan State. Great place to go. We went to this bar, and it was called Show Us Your Mug Night. And you could bring in your own mug of whatever size, and it cost $1 to fill it up. So we went up there, and we went to Walmart, and I might still have it, but I've got, you all have probably seen my big Bass Pro mug. Well, I've got one that's Tennessee, because we looked for the biggest cups we could find, and I found one of the Tennessee, University of Tennessee Volunteers. So I bought it, and we went to Mug Night, and for $1, this thing was filled up, and it was like the equivalent of like 3 or 4 beers. But that bar was really smart for doing that, because we all got to drinking beer. We were all drunk. We ended up pouring out a lot of the beer anyway and paying another $1 for another beer, because it all got warm by the time we got down to the bottom. But we also got so drunk that we started buying shots. So they ended up getting way more. We were like, oh, we're going to drink cheap. We all ended up broke. It's funny how that works, But that was some marketing genius. New Carlisle, Indiana here. Okay, I have been around Indiana. I'm going to look that one up, because I have heard of New Carlisle. And I just want to see where you're at. Okay, so that would be why. I have ridden the train not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before, when that big storm hit and Chicago shut down. I got stuck. I got rerouted to Chicago for some reason, and then I got stuck there. There was no planes going out. I then went to the or I then started looking. There were no buses. I couldn't get a bus. I was trying to get a bus to Louisville just to get out of Chicago, and they kept delaying it, delaying it, delaying it, and finally I was like, okay, I'm clearly not getting in. So I called my friend who lived in. She was from Valparaiso, Indiana, and had lived in Chicago and worked in Chicago for a while. And I was like, what should I do? And she was like, you want to get on the South Shore line. And she goes, you're from Toledo, right? I go, yeah. She goes, you want to take that? You can either take it to Michigan City or you can go to South Bend. But if you can get someone to pick you up there, she goes, I guarantee you the trains are still running. So middle of the night, me and Glory, we get a Uber to the L, and we take that down, and then we hop on the South Shore line. So I've been near your area. I don't think we actually went through New Carlisle, but I do remember hearing it said on the thing. We did get off in South Bend, and I had a family member who was able to drive up to South Bend, pick me up, and then made it to Ohio, no problem then. But yeah, the South Shore line. Have I ever heard of Cops and Donuts Bakery? It's owned by the police in Clare. I have not. I've not heard of it. So a goal always of doing this channel was for me to take this show on the road. I've always wanted to do, if you remember, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He was on CBS News Sunday morning, and in the 70s, but more throughout the 80s, he would get into this RV with a couple of his cameramen, and they would go on the road throughout all the U.S. and they would meet people and do stories and whatnot. And I used to love the stories that he and the people that he would come into contact with. And that has always been a goal of this channel, is for me to eventually buy a van or an RV or something where I can take this on the road and meet veterans, go and help veterans nationwide, but also visit places like that. So that's why I want to have the pins. So, as you all are fans of this show and encourage me to, go different places. Oh, that's my garbage bin. Sorry. As you all, show me where you all are watching from, it encourages me to go different places and check out different things. Because, I've been to, I believe my last count, I've been to 34 of the 50 states. And I do want to get to all 50 of the U.S. states. And, just kind of know what's going on. My garbage guys are so nice. I normally, if I'm here when they come, I go out and greet them. The cat is looking out the window, but he's standing next to his food bowl. He's eaten 3 times already this morning. I've got an automatic pet feeder, and it gives, so he doesn't like binge eat. It gives a little bit at a time, and he's acting like he's hungry. If you go off in SB is South End and past NC, those are the tracks. About 2 blocks north of me, NC is Whistle Stop. We have to go to the tracks on County Line Road and raise the flag so the train will stop here. Yeah, I did get off in South Bend, and bitter cold. Had to kind of walk around the train station that they had there. But yeah, I did go through there. I do like South Bend. I've been to South Bend before, but that was from when I was younger and I was coming from Toledo. So I didn't make it to New Carlisle because that would have been further. My dad was a UPS guy, and he used to drive every day from Toledo to Hammond, Indiana. So he knows that area really well too. He was giving me some tips as I was making that travel. These animals are not used to me being home. Normally Glory goes with me into work, so they are completely lost right now. They don't know what to do. And you guys can kind of see my lemon tree. I got my lemon tree, and then that up there is I'm growing some tomatoes. And then outside I planted, they're doing really well. I planted 2 trees. I planted a peach tree and an apricot tree. So now I have to start looking into canning, because next year I will likely get fruit. I might get lemons this year, but next year I will get fruit, so I'm gonna have to learn canning. What bars in East Lansing did you visit? To be honest, I can't remember. That was like 1999, and it's been so long. Yeah, I can't remember. I just remember it was in East Lansing. It was a Friday night because we were there to play Central Michigan on Saturday. There's the kitty. um, yeah, we were there to play Central Michigan uh, on Saturday, and yeah, so that, and we were pretty pretty well drinking. Rick's, I don't know. I wish I did. I do want to get back up to East Lansing and watch a Michigan State game. I do want to do that. My whole family is Ohio State fans, so we like the Big Ten. Now that they're expanding out this way, I'll actually have a chance of seeing some Big Ten games. But I took my son to see UCLA play Bowling Green a year ago. That was fun. I didn't go to the Rose Bowl. We talked about it to see Michigan play Alabama, but there was just a lot of uncertainty during the holidays this year, so I didn't pay for that. But I really enjoy college football. In fact, a guy I'm good friends with, he's on the coaching staff. Well, good friends with that I was friends with from when he played at University of Toledo. We haven't kept in touch, obviously, since college, but he's now a coach at Utah. But I am going to reach out to him and find out when a good chance where I could take my son up there and hopefully get a tour of their facilities so my son can see that. But yeah, he's on the coaching staff at Utah. Let's see, a couple of the coaches, like one of the coaches that I worked with, he was the defensive coordinator of Florida, but I believe he left when they did that last coaching change. One was the head coach of Wyoming. Then he ended up at Texas A&M for a year, and now he's coaching in Poland. So yeah, I've seen a lot of coaches and people that I've kind of kept in touch with, like Facebook. When I say friends, I mean like they're friends on Facebook. We don't talk every day, but we keep up on what everyone's doing. It's just how you can go up to the top and see for miles around. Okay. I think stuff like that is cool. If it's a historical thing or dedicated to someone, I really think that stuff has changed. East Lansing has changed big time. I bet Michigan's changed a lot. My best friend, he works at Saginaw State University, and he keeps wanting me to go up there. And I love the desert, but I think if I start going back that way, like I go back and see my family, but I think if I were to start going off into the little towns and stuff the way I used to, I'll probably end up moving back to Michigan, Ohio, or I'll tell you the one I'm leaning towards is West Virginia. I really love West Virginia. It's a nice place. What's keeping me from West Virginia is connectivity, doing this show. If I don't have good connectivity, I won't move there. And I do like being able to travel from where I am right now. I can choose Vegas, LA, San Diego. I can fly from all these places. So especially when I'm looking at flights for like international, there's a lot of places where I can go and get flights from. So when I finally do get to the point where I take this show on the road, which it's coming. It's coming. I don't feel the need to do this all. Rome wasn't built in a day, so I don't feel the need to do this all right away. But I will be doing travel, and when I do, I'll be doing stuff with this. So I've got to finish editing. Editing is what I hate the most about this show. Whenever I edit the videos, it's very detail oriented. It takes me a lot of time, and I'm not naturally good at it. So I gotta plug this in so it doesn't drain the battery on the tablet here. So I've got a couple videos that I've been working on that I kind of stopped editing that I need to get back to editing, and a couple of them are travel videos. Uh, the Are you all here with me because you're What the Hales fans? I know a lot of you guys are. I see we got some people on Twitter, some people on YouTube. Whoever was watching on Facebook took off. That's okay. I don't expect people. No one owes me anything. If you're here watching, I thank you. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're here watching me, I am thankful that you're here. I don't need to have a million views. I'm not upset if people, don't watch the stream. It is what it is. It's just me talking in the ether. I do want it to be, if you're here, I do want it to be entertaining for you. So I hope you are all entertained. One thing I notice, I get better as the stream goes on. I try to have some stuff prepared, like, I'll look up news articles and stuff. But as we go, you get more of my personality, and I think it gets better as the show goes on. Plus, you guys give me the feedback. I love getting the feedback because you can kind of determine what we talk about. Check out Sleeping Bear National Sand Dunes. Has a 45-degree drop to Lake Michigan. Beautiful if you go down there. You need help to get back up. USCC will come get you for a small fee of $3,000. I am very familiar with that. So we did play Western Michigan. It's over there near Michigan City. I'm familiar with it, and I've seen the videos. I have not visited. I've not visited the sand dunes. You would think they would build a staircase going down to the dunes, or have a rope or something, so for those who get stuck, have a way to actually get up, so then they don't have to, dedicate personnel. But it's probably turned into a money-making opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised. Ooh, I have an Amazon package out for delivery, and this is for the kitty. So here, I'll show you what I bought. Okay, come on. What the hell's fan? Glad I found you, military family. I'm glad that you are here. Please share, tell people, other military people about this. But if they're not military, they might enjoy the show as well. So I got this for the cat, and it's a little thing. Someone with their motorcycle going by. It sounds like he's on my road though. So I bought this to go in one of the doorway, because my cat, his favorite thing is to bat at things above him, and his cat tree has a little thing that hangs down, and he does play with it, but it's not out of his reach. He wants it like out of his reach. He likes to jump and stuff like that. I'm gonna get me a warmer. The pot of coffee is getting low, and USCG, Coast Guard. Okay, gotta love our coasties. I love the Coast Guard. I worked with a Coast Guard, a lawyer, actually, and I noticed he still had the old camouflage, the desert camouflage. And I started talking to him one day. I was like, "You have a lot of uniforms." And he was like, "What's funny is every time the Navy adds a uniform, the Coast Guard adopts it, and they never discontinue it." He goes, "I could literally make a change to my uniform every day." And he goes, "It would probably be about 45 days before I run out of changes to my uniform. If I changed, you know, wore an appropriate uniform, but made a change to it every single day." Because he had his dress blues, he had his khakis, he had his camouflage utilities. My nephew was stationed at 29 Palms for 3 years. He then went to Chicago. I hope he's doing well. 29 Palms is not the nicest place to go. This is an acquired taste. It absolutely is. Chicago is very different. I I have had fun in Chicago on the few times I went there. I did have to go to Great Lakes when I was stationed. I was attached to Michigan's Naval ROTC, and I did have to go to Great Lakes for my commissioning physical. So, and that required me to go. I had to go like 2 or 3 times, and we would set it up so that like a group of us who were already, like Marines and for the Navy, they were chiefs, but when they go into the commissioning program, they call them officer candidates. So when the Marines and the OCs, when we would all go, we would set it up so we could carpool, and that way it was cheaper and easier. And yeah, we stopped in Chicago a couple times and we had some fun. Um, Chicago's a very unique city. I do want to go and visit. When I was there for that day for Christmas Day, everything had the Christmas decorations, and I was doing a FaceTime with my son, and he really wants to go. Um, what was it, like 3 years ago? We went for New Year's to Ohio, and they flew us through Newark, New Jersey for some reason. But my son was really excited because he could see New York City, and we could see the Statue of Liberty and all that stuff. So the Freedom Tower. He was really excited to see all that. So I said, okay, we'll take a trip to New York at some point. I've been to New York. I went there for Thanksgiving, 2009, or no, 2008 or seven, one of those years. We went for the Macy's parade. He told his commanding officer at 29 Palms punishment by sending them back home. Right, right. That is 29 Palms is rough. Like, especially when you start getting in the gritty of like these MPs who, sorry, I got the kitty down here. He's trying to distract me. And whenever the kitty comes for attention, the dog comes for attention. You coming up? Okay. Here he is up here. Conspiracy Kitty. I don't have the soundboard because I'm using my tablet this morning. Hi. Yes, I love you. See, I get one comes up, I get the other one. Kang the Conspiracy Kitty. I'm going to start a Twitter for him. So if you're on Twitter, I'm going to start up a conspiracy Twitter for Kang where we can discuss all of our favorite conspiracies. Stay out of my coffee, please. It's not for you. It's too hot. And he's just going to knock over my tablet. I've got fake flowers up here, and he is just obsessed with them. They're not real. They're not real, cat. If you do want to visit 29 Palms, it is a very pretty place. Come in either the spring, fall, or winter. Winter, it will get cold. It will. But, you don't have to wear a winter coat. Rarely does it, like at night, it might get below freezing. But it, will be in the 50s most days. This year we had an abnormally cold winter, so we had a long time where it was in the 40s. But Joshua Tree is absolutely beautiful. If you come in the spring or fall, like if you come in the summer, it will be hot here. You go up into the park, it will be a little bit cooler. What type of dog? Glory is officially called an Australian Labradoodle. Her mom was an Australian Shepherd and Poodle, and her dad was a Labradoodle. So she's 50% Poodle. Very smart dog. I've had smart dogs before where I could tell they were sitting and like looking and figuring things out. Glory just figures it out. I will say that. She's been very easy to train. She came to me when she was 1 year old, already a fully trained service dog. She picked up the training like that. A lot of that was she had good trainers and she was trained around other dogs. Dogs do best learning in packs because once one figures something out, the rest, they're like, oh, okay. They non-verbally communicate to each other and they learn stuff. So you can have a stupid dog in a pack with some smart dogs, and that stupid dog will figure out what the smart dogs figure out. So I've learned a lot about dog training. Dogs also have self-esteem. So you should make sure that you give your dog a job or a duty, because if they do that, their self-esteem is going to be much higher, and they're going to be easier to train. You'll have less behavioral problems, and they learn that from golden retrievers, because golden retrievers are just beautiful dogs, but also very intelligent and very loving. But you can't do domination training with a golden retriever. At a certain point, they'll just stop, and then you can't train that golden retriever anymore. But if you give them a job to do, and you praise them when they do that job, they're going to want to keep doing that job. And sometimes it's going out and getting the paper. It can be, teaching them to pick something up. It can be little things, but if you give them a job to do, they will do that job. Like Glory, she can take my socks off. That is her favorite job in the world. And they told me, they said, out of everything else that she's been trained to do, that's the one thing you'll never want to stop doing, because if you stop doing it, that's when you'll start having problems with her. She loves to take socks off. So when I get in bed at night, I'll hold up my foot, and I've got some videos. I did a YouTube short on it if you want to take a look and see her doing it. And I tell her the command is tug, and she tugs my sock off. And she lays down with it right between her paws, and she kind of smiles like, yeah, I did it. And she gets really happy. I have an Australian Shepherd and my Alaskan Malamute. So the neighbor behind me, they just built a house, and the neighbor, I don't think it's an Alaskan Malamute. It's some type of husky mix. Really smart dog. He or she, I don't know what it is, because I haven't seen them there much. I was concerned because their dog's out a lot, so I went to my other neighbor and I was like, "Can you tell me, is someone taking care of this dog?" And she's like, "Yeah, they've been there." I could tell they had moved in, but they're gone quite a bit. Which huskies here, it's cold enough here. Huskies can be outside. They want to be outside. I used to have a roommate had a husky, and we lived together out here in the desert. That husky, he just wanted to be left out. He really did. He had a dog door. He could come in. He'd want to be outside. So I wasn't like, oh, you're leaving your dog out. You're a neglectful owner. I'm sure the dog just wants to be outside. But I just wanted to make sure that someone was, taking care of it, making sure it had water and everything. And my other neighbor said, yeah, I've seen them here. And the dog has food and water. She hasn't talked to him, but she's like, I've seen him feed it, seen him water it. So I know the dog's taken care of. And it's a beautiful dog. It won't come to me, though. When I go to the fence, it runs and hides. Does not want and it gets scared of Glory, and Glory is not even half its size. Glory is 17 pounds, and this dog's probably 70 pounds. It does not want to, which is fine, because Glory normally does not get along well with other dogs. Timu is blowing up my phone. I hate that. Make sure you guys are all hitting the like button. I see we got 10 people here. Let's see. So, okay, still most of you are on YouTube, but we also have some people from Twitter. Let me actually retweet it out so people can find me. If you could also retweet, share, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, because when you do that, I am so thankful. That helps me. Your comments also help me. It's all YouTube. Unlike the other social media, YouTube is about you, the viewer. So that's why I always want, I like the interaction. I like you guys getting the most out of the experience. And when you leave me a comment, you help me so much. That's why when Jeremy Hale says the haters are your biggest fans, he's absolutely right. Because people who hate watch, first off, they drive up your watch time, which is big, because YouTube looks at that. Then, if they hit the dislike button, YouTube counts that just the same way that a like button. It's engagement. Same thing with comments. I've got haters who will leave me, they'll leave a comment and I'll just ask them a question and they have no clue that I'm just trying to boost the engagement. I'm just trying to interact with them. The more times they reply to me, the better it is for that video. It's them telling YouTube, put this video in front of lots of people. YouTube thrives off of the controversy because people will watch controversy. Dakota wants to stay out in the middle of winter and snowing. The dog that I had ended up because my roommate moved. She couldn't take the dog where she was going, but her ex-boyfriend, who's a friend of mine, he wanted the dog because he was moving up to Northern California, and the dog was going to be in a much better situation. Like after a couple months, I was like, "Hey, how's the dog doing?" And he sends me. He didn't respond. He just sent me a video of him letting the dog out. And there was this long field, it's in a valley. There's all these trees in Northern California, and it's nothing but snow. And there's a house on the other side. And he lets his dog out and it starts running towards this house. And you see the neighbor, they open up and they had a husky too. And these two dogs are both running to meet each other in the field. And then he then texted me after. I was like, "That's hilarious." He goes, "I don't have a fenced in yard." He's like, "I don't have to worry. These two dogs just meet each other. They play in the field. They chase each other. They run around." And he's like, "When it's time to come in, I just open the door and yell for the dog, and dog comes in, and the other dog goes to its door." And he goes, "They're the best of friends." It's like kids, you let them stay out until the street lights come on. That's how we were as kids. Like, that's really what I was talking to my best friend about yesterday. He's a professor, and he was telling his students, like, you don't really understand, like, media can't quite portray how it was with us growing up. We were kicked outside. Our parents had no clue where we were. We were talking about how, like, I do remember at one point there was attempted kidnappings in our neighborhood, and we didn't have Amber Alert. So the way it got around was, like, we had like a newspaper that was kind of like our neighborhood newspaper, and then people just word of mouth were like, "Oh, hey, there's a van and here it's this color, watch out." They were seen trying to take a kid and stuff like that. That was our Amber Alert. And of course you were getting it like 2 days past. So yeah, it, it was. I look back now and I'm like, "Oh wow, that was so much chaos." One thing that I do stream this. Okay, we don't have anyone watching for LinkedIn. I post this on LinkedIn. No one ever watches, but whatever. I'm just like, well, people find me on there. I do my leadership videos, military leadership. I post those on LinkedIn. Uh, yeah, my little YouTube shorts. Those they get a lot of attention on YouTube and also on Instagram. I actually use Instagram to edit those because Instagram has really good editing abilities. YouTube has editing stuff. They're just not as good. Um, any other stories you guys want to talk about? Um, Buttigieg mocks Americans who don't want electric cars. Well, that's like most of the people. I don't want an electric car. They haven't figured them out yet, and plus I don't want something that could potentially explode on me. And that's exactly what lithium batteries do. If they're cracked and water gets in, they explode. Uh, Prince Harry is in a painful place after writing about Kate Middleton in Spare. Well, yeah, what'd you think would happen? You talk smack about people. What else? Hit and run accidents. EPA didn't declare public health emergency after fiery Ohio derailment. Okay, so that's about East Palestine. Yeah, they should have declared a emergency. Um, I did my taxes, and I noticed that Ohio is offering things like tax incentive, or not tax incentive, but tax deductions for people affected by that. Um, Pro wrestling. Pro wrestling has not been the same for me since ECW. Once WWE bought them, that's when wrestling for the most part died for me. Um, Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj, and more warn against predatory use of AI in open letter will devalue the entire music ecosystem. I don't know about that. Right now, AI is showing some faults. Police officer found not guilty of raping woman in Plymouth while on duty. That's from The Guardian. Wondering when Biden's going to give up his Corvette since he's put right, right, like yeah, rules for thee, but not for me. That's California, like mandating that people have to not buy gas vehicles after 2030. It's just ridiculous. I am excited about. Okay, so California has the high-speed rail that they're doing going from LA to San Francisco. It's not going from LA to San Francisco, but that's how they tout it as. It's actually going from Bakersfield to, it's either Merced or Modesto. It's one of the M's up there. That's a whole debacle. It sucks. However, there's a private company that's building one that's going to go from uh, Victorville to Vegas. That thing is going to be awesome because that's a private venture, and Elon Musk, he's building his tunnels. He's building his tunnel in Vegas that almost everyone knows about, but he's also building one in it's going to start in San Bernardino County near Ontario, near the airport, and that's going to take you up to Victorville. So you will be able to go essentially from the LA area, park your car, and then get to Vegas in like 2 hours without having to drive. And for me, driving to Victorville is like an hour. So if I go to Vegas, it takes me about 3 hours, actually 3.5. 3.5 minimum really to get there. So if I can go drive an hour to Victorville, park my car, and then take the bullet train to Vegas and be there in 2 hours, as long as it's priced right, that will be great for me. That will be perfect. And why California didn't do that line, they should have done that line. And they should have done that first because it would have paid for all the other high speed rail, would have paid for everything else. But now, this thing's been going now for 10 years because they broke ground in 2014. I believe 2014, 14 or 15. So we're 9 years. It's already budget overruns, and it's also not going where they said it was going to go to. And then they say they're going to do from San Diego to LA. Good luck. Good luck. What they should be doing is just building right over I-5. Just build it right over that, because then you don't have to worry about eminent domain and stuff like that. And if someone doesn't want to give up their property, you're not going to be in a legal battle. You already own essentially the land that the highways on. Just build it right over that. But this state is not known for being smart. This state squanders everything it has. And I know there's people out there who are like, California is the 5th biggest economy in the world. That's because it has a coastline. It's because it's got a big coastline. That's why it's that way. Any state that has a coastline has a built-in high economy. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. If you're landlocked like Nebraska, you're going to be limited. That's why those inland states need natural resources. I'm going to top off my coffee one last time. All right. How do you all drink your coffee? I take mine. I I because I'm older, I'm cutting out sugar. So I do have sweet and low or equal. I don't have preference, just as long as it's a little bit of sweetener, and then I drink it black. Rarely will I put cream in it. My family all does cream. Not really my thing. Um, but yeah, that's how I drink my coffee. Uh, I can drink coffee late at night. I don't like to, but I am one of those people who can do it. My aunt she used to brew a pot of coffee at like 9 o'clock at night and just drink it by herself. Um, I did my video about, memories, happy memories, and that's how you stem off anxiety and PTSD attacks. And that's one of my go-to memories. I've got a couple. When I first started with this, I had them written down. So then if I was having an attack, I could immediately like look it up and be like, okay, I'm going to use this memory. But yeah, I remember my aunt, she would brew a cup of coffee at night and she would light a cigarette and she would sit there and I always go for memories with very strong smells because scent will engage your memory more than anything else. And when you're having a PTSD attack and your brain is firing on all cylinders, giving it that way to go will start to center you. It'll start to focus on that. And so I'll think of the smell of the coffee and cigarettes, and yeah, just think of my aunt just sitting there at her dining room table, and that's a happy memory. But I'll think about that and think it makes me then remember things about her and whatnot, and it's calming and helps get me out of that anxiety attack. I s- I say anxiety attack. Some people say panic attacks. Whatever. I don't know what the terminology is. But if you struggle with panic attacks, anxiety attacks, that's a really good way to center yourself and make it to where that attack will go by very quickly. That I don't have it's rare for me to have a powerful attack. I remember the last one that I had was in November of 2020, and I had an individual who had released s- information from my personnel record, and uh, clearly a HIPAA violation, clearly. And it caused me a severe attack. It went on for over 6 hours. My hand was physically shaking, and I don't like to self medicate, but that was one where I drove down to Palm Springs and I went to one of the dispensaries down there and I got me a couple edibles because I needed something to calm myself. And that calmed me. I don't do that often because I that becomes a crutch. Self medication becomes a crutch, and that's why so many veterans that we lose of the 22 a day, which is only what the VA will admit, is that they'll only admit to 22. It's higher than that. But of those that we lose, most of them you'll find are self-medicating, and whether it's drugs or alcohol, your body's physiology will start to change. So if you're addicted to something, you're going to get more addicted, and your brain's, you know, it's going to change to support that addiction. It's not going to be enough. So I understand that there's people out there who, they smoke a lot and they're like, this is what I do. That's you. That's your journey. Take it. I will not denounce you for anything. It's just not what I'm going to do. And I've seen too much negativity. It's kind of like, I've got people who reach out to me, and I know a lot about motorcycles because I was the safety guy in that forced me to be the motorcycle safety guy. So I know a lot about motorcycles, motorcycle laws, about riding them. You'll never catch me on a motorcycle. I'll ride a dirt bike out here in the desert, but that's different. I'm not riding on the roads. But I get people are like, "Oh, you should ride." No, I'll never be on a motorcycle. And I was the safety guy. I saw too many pictures, saw too many incidents. It's the same reason. I've just seen it too much, so it's not for me. So I get I get if that's your thing, that's your thing. By all means, that's your thing. Go with it. It's just not for me. So, uh, yeah, I've had people, they try to convince me. I'm like, sorry, just not my thing. So one thing I bought yesterday, I bought a inflatable hot tub. Um, I've been looking at them. I bought one used. So I have to. I'm doing things to my house. New homeowner. I've been doing different things to it, and it's going to go on my porch, but I have to level out. I've got sand. I'm going to level out the sand, and then I'm going to put a floor on my porch, and that's where the hot tub is going to go. And so once I have that, you might get, instead of coffee with the skipper, you might get a hot tub with the skipper. Well, Mm, what was it that they did on Saturday Night Live back in the day? Velvet Jones, when it was Eddie Murphy, Velvet Jones in the hot tub. I get him confused with the Ladies Man that they did years later with Tim Meadows, which was hilarious. I loved the Ladies Man. Whenever you're gonna call, ooh, it's a lady. Maybe I should maybe I should. I'm probably gonna change up the soundboard a little bit because some of them I'm finding they're just not practical to the stream, and some like I've got like multiple things I can use, so I might switch them up a bit. And maybe I should change the "Hey, where are the white women at?" to "Ooh, it's a lady." I like having fun with that. This tablet's actually what I use for my soundboard. When I broadcast this way, I can't use it. Uh, but yeah, that's fun stuff. I'm just listening to I think it's the garbage truck going by again. Ooh, it's 8:30. Time to start wrapping this thing up. I'm on my last cup of coffee. Um, is there any topics you guys want me to discuss before we go? Like I was talking about the DUI guy's stream. You should go check him out. I'll also subscribe to him. Also, if there's any YouTubers that you think I should follow, or people on Twitter that you think I should follow, please put that in the chat. I love discovering new people. Um, I don't really like when I watch TV. It's most of the time either I wait for series to kind of like get advanced and then I'll binge watch it on like a weekend, uh, or I'll watch reruns because like a lot of what's on live TV today, I think is crap, and I don't like when they do the bait and switch woke stuff. Like I don't like that at all. But I do follow a lot of YouTubers. Like I see Charlotte Dobre. She's a Canadian. She does a lot of reaction videos. She's pretty funny. I enjoy her. Another comedian that I watch is or comedic YouTubers. Call Me Chris. Um, Me and my son, we watch Mr. Beast. Um, check out What You Doing, Willis. So okay. I was watching his Tube Town stream yesterday. It was the afternoon for me. Him and I'm not sure what his girl's name is, but I was watching them. Uh, Tube Town is coming. So freaking funny, man. But yeah, I do like Willis. I do like he is entertaining. Um, yeah, he gets some good stuff on there. Uh, the whole battle between Willis putting up the camera and clearing off the driveway, and then John and Lynette posting their videos. It's like, what is the problem with you people? Um, Anyway comes. Is that a YouTube channel? It was just ridiculous. Like the stuff that they did. He placed a sign up. He's all about smiles. I really, here's one thing. I like Jeremy and George, but there's so many in that circle that they've kind of introduced us all to that I like. A part of me is like, I won't lie. I'm like, I should move to Otter Creek. Um, and I never wanted to move to Florida, but the people there and the personalities, the Hudson sisters, I could sit probably all day and just listen to them, talk about, their dad and the town. Uh, Deanna, Deanna is really funny. I, why her and George aren't just doing their own stuff? Like I find the two of them really funny, especially together. You can tell that they enjoy each other's company. Uh, Madam Mayor and Brett, I'm glad that they're doing more stuff. Travis is a former motorcycle racer. He still helps at the tracks. That's cool. Um, so I've always wanted to do some type of like with Veteran Nation, if I can get this thing going, do some type of sponsorship. Because when I started doing this and I was looking at doing a nonprofit, there's a veteran that I know out of Pennsylvania. He's got a nonprofit where he sends kids to camp. And he told me, he was like, you need to get into racing, which I'm a journalist. If you look at my stuff, I've been to NASCAR races. I've been to some other, races and stuff. I've covered that stuff. So I go in, take my camera, get some good photos, write a couple articles. I've enjoyed racing. I've met some really of my racing heroes in the past. And he was like, "You should get into this because what he does is he has his nonprofit sponsor his race team." And he goes, when I take because he's got a little, I believe it's a midget car. And when he takes his car, he puts it out. People come up to the car and then they learn about the nonprofit and they donate to the nonprofit. And he goes, it becomes cyclical. He goes, because, they donate to the nonprofit. I send all these kids to camp. And then I take a certain amount of money and I give it back to the race team where I can buy parts and stuff. And he goes, and that feeds everything. And I was like, that's really interesting way of doing it. And he gave me a lot of great advice, a lot of really good advice. Like he was like, yeah, you should. He was the one who said, get a pit bike and auction it off. He goes, he was like, you go to these NASCAR races. He goes, get yourself a booth, put a little pit bike. He goes, and raffle it or auction it off. And that way, he's like, you'll get, he goes, because you do that, and he goes, and then you have your little donation thing. He goes, race fans are big supporters of veterans and veterans charities. And he goes, they will all come over, they'll talk with you, and he goes, they'll give you stuff, uh, give you money and whatnot, and you'll be able to use that to help your nonprofit. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. And plus, that fits into what I want to do: be able to take this show and this nonprofit and start going around the U.S. meeting more veterans and being able to help more veterans. In fact, yesterday. Um, a veteran who's a big fan of the show reached out to me. He's considering relocating. He's in a part of the country where it's just not good for his condition. He wants to move. The problem is he's got family where he's at, and he'll move to somewhere where he doesn't have a support structure. So what I'm trying to find is a veterans community. I found obviously I got my one friend who's building a veterans community, a tiny home here out of Yucca Valley, California. Rescue Residents. Go check out his channel. Great guy. He's renovating or redoing a ambulance, and that's how he gets people to his nonprofit. But that's what he's doing. and he put me in contact with another place out of St. Louis where it's a veteran tiny home community. And I told this guy, here's their YouTube channel, look at their stuff. In fact, I will go ahead and promote them. Let me find it here. So that you all can check out their channel, because I like promoting good people. So this is called VCP, the Veteran Community Project. Here is their channel right there, and they're out of St. Louis, or I'm sorry, Kansas City, Missouri. The Veterans Community Project was founded by a group of combat veterans in Kansas City, Missouri, who resolved to stand in the gaps of a broken system that left too many of their brothers and sisters behind. The solution is to provide critical support services is twofold. Veteran Outreach Center, a walk-in center to serve as every one-stop shop for every type of veteran facing every type of problem, regardless of time and service, discharge status, or any other traditional qualifier. VCP is ready to help. Our staff assist veterans with navigating the VA and their benefits, identification services, mental and physical health referrals, financial counseling, and employment supports, amongst other services. And then they have the VCP Village, a specialized community of tiny homes combined with wraparound on-site services to get homeless veterans off the street and transition them into permanent housing. So that's what I told this guy. Please go to their channel. Again, it's at Veterans Community Project. Subscribe and make sure that you tell them that Veteran Nation sent you, because I would like to have them on the show. But I think what they're doing is great. I don't know if this veteran is going to go to their thing, but I'm trying to find more places like that. If you have one in your committee or in your community, let me know. I see Gail says there's a former vet opening up a home in Otter Creek. I would love to help out with that. If it's just me helping get the word out, if it's me, raising money. You know, if Jeremy and George or What You Doing Willis, anybody like that wants to do anything with veterans, I will happily say, okay, let's do it underneath my 501c, so that way, we can really, we don't have to worry about any type of legalities or anything, and let's do this for them. I don't have any programs for my nonprofit for this show. Just as things pop up, I don't want the money. I had people donate a bunch of gift cards. I immediately started handing them out to every veteran and military I could find. I kept them, I've got a little like mini wallet of all my business cards, and I just kept a couple there, and then I kept others in my car. And when I would meet veterans, I'd be like, "Hey, here you go. Here's a gift card." And I think what I had was like $20 Sam's Club gift cards, just and handing those out. Uh, we did get all the prizes for the local school here. Were like 65% of the students are from military or veteran families. So we did the talent show. We were able to get every child who participated. They all got a at least one uh, prize. The top prizes I was able to get and donate two $25 Dave and Buster's gift cards, which the kids love. We were able to get one of the places here donated. They had a $20 gift card, but they also donated a mug, and they told us that the student who wins that, if they come in here and bring it, they'll get unlimited sweet tea for life with that mug. Winging It in 29 Palms. That's the name of the place. If you're here in 29 Palms, if you're here in Southern California and you like Louisiana cooking, that's a family from Louisiana. They started their business here. They started in a real small place, and they've now expanded to a big one. They're great people. This is what this show's about. I love highlighting good people. Uh, Gail, is that veteran? Is that the gentleman who was on the video and told Jeremy you don't even belong here? Uh, that, from what I understand, that gentleman is a Marine Corps veteran. I would love to interview him. I would love to interview him. If someone can get me in touch with him. Uh, Sorry, I just got a text. Did I hear about the tornadoes in Ohio last night? Yeah, actually, I've got family who live outside of Columbus, and I was talking with my mom this morning. The tornado sirens went off last night, and they went into the basement. Yeah, they went into the basement, and luckily my brother's got a finished basement, uh, pretty nice. So they were able to sleep down there and be completely safe. Like they gave the all clear. My mom had me laughing. She was like, "Yeah, the uh, the tornado whistle went off, and we all went down to the basement. But then we got the all clear, and when we got the all clear, my brother was like, "Okay, we can go back upstairs." And my niece looked at my mom and goes, "We're not going upstairs." I do find it funny because, like, my family, we, for years, we lived with all this stuff. I'm just getting my power cable. Apparently, this one I'm gonna have to toss it because it's not working. Um, but yeah, my family, we're not scared of. I mean, me and my brother used to chase the storms when we lived up in the Toledo area. It's nothing but cornfields up there, so we would chase tornadoes. Gail, are you the formal council woman? No, that's Gail Lamb. Okay, yeah, that is Gail Lamb. But I'm sorry, I'm just getting up on all the things here. Camp coffee at supper made with hot milk, one of my best memories from childhood at Grandpa's. Absolutely. I love camp coffee. I do have my percolator, my campfire. If you look, I've done a couple videos where I'm sitting out by the fire. Not at this place. I'll be out this weekend building a fire pit. I need to practice my masonry skills. Um, so the first thing I'm gonna do is build a fire pit outside so that I can, make campfire coffee. And yeah, I love campfire coffee. I think it's great. Um, sorry, there we go. My fat fingers, even with the tablet, going from my phone to the big iPad, my fat fingers hit everything. But yeah, I love campfire coffee. It just has that little bit of a unique taste. But definitely check out Indy's Coffee. That's what I'm drinking this morning. They're out of Texas. It's a veteran owns it. They make really good coffee. Um, I got turned on to them because the one network that was doing my show, they had a partnership with Black Rifle Coffee, and I don't know what happened, but they had a bit of a falling out. So then they were like, no, we're gonna promote another veteran-owned business, and then they went with Indy's Coffee, and that's Indy's Coffee. It's a Marine veteran who worked in Hollywood, so all their coffees are named either after a movie or after a category of movie. But it's really good coffee. I highly recommend. What foods do you miss from Ohio, Michigan, like Detroit style pizza? Um, so actually, I'm not a big like. Okay, so I do eat Detroit style pizza. It's just not. I'm not like, oh yeah. I need to have that. Um, I Here's what I hate. That's a big Ohio thing, and I think they do it in Michigan too. They cut the pizza into squares, and I'm like, what kind of psychopath cuts people pizza into squares? Um, I will eat Chicago deep dish. I love pizza. Um, my least favorite pizza is thin crust. I will eat that too, though. But for foods that I miss, Superman ice cream. It is not a thing out here on the West Coast. For those who don't know, Superman ice cream, it's blue, yellow, and red, and super good. You go anywhere in the Midwest, and they're probably going to have it. For the longest time, I missed Verner's. Now, I don't miss Verner's anymore because I found out they sell it here. Verner's is ginger ale. It's actually the oldest soda company in all of the United States. Okay, they've been making ginger ale nonstop since like 1840. It's that old. And Verner's, they still use the original recipe, which has a ton of ginger in it. So if you drink Canada Dry, you're gonna get, yeah, it's ginger ale. It's got that little ginger flavor. Verner's is like ginger. We like to say, oh, Coney's. Yeah, Coney's is good too. Yeah, Coney Island hot dogs, they're good. But Verner's, we that's what everybody from Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, when you're sick, you're gonna drink Verner's and it's gonna burn the infection out of you. Like the ginger is really strong. And if you don't live in an area where they don't carry it in the soda section, here's what I found. Go into the where they sell alcohol, they have it here in California as a mixer. That's the only place I can find it. But I found Verner's, Diet Verner's, and Verner's Zero. So I now get my fix on Verner's, and I've had a couple Californians be like, "Yeah, open a can, let it rest before you drink it, because it'll go right up your nose. Like when you open it up and it's fizzy, it like that smell of ginger. It's gonna clear out those sinuses. It is so strong, and I've had Californians. They're like, it can't be that strong. I'm like, try it. Just try it. Now I'll pour them a glass, and they'll be like, "Oh my god!" And it's like, "Yep, yep. What you're drinking is the weak stuff." Yeah, it has real ginger, and it's good for you. Yep, it is. But yeah, Verner's. For a long time, I missed Verner's, but I did find where they sell it out here. Um, Obviously, I'm from Toledo, and the big one from Toledo is uh, oh my god, I just draw a blank. It's from Mash and the Mud Hens. Um, it's the hot dog sauce. Hold on here. I feel like an idiot. Um, Hold on here. Tony Paco's. Okay, yeah. Tony Paco's, my hometown. They make a hot dog sauce. It is really great. People are like, "Oh, you're from Toledo. Did you go to Tony Paco's a lot?" And actually, no. I've probably only been there about 5 times in my life. And that was because it's on the east side of Toledo where we didn't always go. And, um, because I grew up on the south side of Toledo, and then when I was a certain age, we moved to the suburbs. And so we didn't go to the east side that often. It was mainly, we stayed like south and west side. That's where all my family was. And, but we still had Tony Paco's hot dog sauce because a local chain store that for the most part is closed up. They still have a store called the Andersons, and the Andersons always sold Tony Paco's sauce. So we would always get the Tony Paco's sauce, or they had my favorite was the hot pickles. They had the hot pickles, and I would get those. And yeah, I do miss those. I can order them. There's a couple like boutique shops here in California that I can go when I leave this area and I go down to like Temecula to wine country and stuff like that. That's where I'll find those boutique shops and uh, yeah, get it. Fago, they do sell Fago out here. There are places I can go into a couple of dollar stores. They'll have Fago. So I don't really miss Fago because I can get it. Superman ice cream I cannot find anywhere around here. That's that's one. If I go back home, I normally get Superman ice cream. The guys on Jeremy's Thursday night AA talk about a sub sandwich shop they love in Ohio. I'm trying to think sub sandwich. I know. So if you're from Southern Ohio, you'll like Skyline Chili. I'm trying to think a sub sandwich. Uh, I'll have to think about that one. There's JJ's. Now that when I was going to Eastern Michigan and Michigan, they started opening up JJ's, which is a chain place. Um, I mean, if that's what it is, they're okay sandwiches. It, Out here, I've got Firehouse subs. It's just kind of like Firehouse subs, in my opinion. Um, I do miss Quiznos. We had a Quiznos when I first moved here, and it closed up. And I couldn't tell you where the nearest Quiznos is. I used to love Quiznos. Um, Dunkin' Donuts. The closest one to me is in Indio. So like when I did the petition YouTube short, I was down in Indio. You can bet I went to Dunkin' Donuts. Um, the only Caribou coffee that I can find out here is at the airport. If I'm at the airport, I'll get Caribou coffee. Must be close to where Conky lives. Could be, could be. There's some good Ohio things. Like I've told everybody if they ask me about Ohio food, I'm like, well, first off, you have to try Ohio. You got to try Buckeyes. That's an Ohio staple, and that's for the most part, it's sugar, brown sugar, peanut butter rolled up into a thing and then dipped in chocolate. So it's kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup, a little bit different, but yeah, Buckeyes are great. I'm trying to think of other things that I can't get in Ohio. Um, Now, my mom, when she comes out here, I have to take her to Carl's Jr. so she can get their egg rolls. She loves Carl's Jr.'s egg rolls. People here in California love their tacos. I think Carl's Jr. is good. Or not Carl, Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box. Carl's Jr. They also don't have. If you're on the East Coast, Carl's Jr. is Hardee's, so you can go to Hardee's. But there's even in Ohio, the only place I could ever go to Hardee's was for the most part along the Ohio Turnpike. That's where the closest Hardee's was. So yeah, if I was going to Sandusky or Port Clinton, I would get on the Ohio Turnpike and stop at Hardee's. um, but yeah, out here it's Carl's Jr. It's good. Trying to think. Everyone talks about In-N-Out. In-N-Out is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. I just don't get the love of it. Californians here are like, we gotta go to In-N-Out, and I'm like, it's okay. It's okay food. Like it's okay, but to me, it's just like any other fast food. I get they make it fresh. It's all fresh ingredients, but I'm just like if you gave me the option um, between In-N-Out and Five Guys, I'm going to Five Guys. In-N-Out and Whataburger, I'm going to Whataburger. That's me. Um, but In-N-Out is good. I'm just not like on the In-N-Out train that everyone else is. Like Walt Fall House from Michigan, the closest one is in Toledo. Um, which one are you talking about? Which? Um, oh, Waffle House. Okay, sorry, it took me a second there. It changed waffle into Walt Fall. Yeah, so there are no Waffle Houses here. There's also like the nearest Cracker Barrel to me is 45 minutes away, and a lot of that is because California has laws about their eggs. You have to buy locally sourced eggs because the price of eggs is higher here. So with Waffle House and Cracker Barrel, for the most part, they're not in California. They might have one or two, um, but yeah, if I go to Arizona, there's a Waffle House there, there's a Cracker Barrel there, there's also Carver's, which I had never tried Carver's until I went to Minnesota. My ex was from Minnesota, so we used to go up there every year, so she could see family and so that I could fish. And we would go to Carver's a lot, and I love Carver's. I love their frozen custard, very good. And yeah, they also have cheese curds, deep fried cheese curds. So if I go to Lake Havasu, I'm going to Carver's off I-75. That was the one I used to go to all the time. That was right there. I actually used to work where that Waffle House is. There's a Kroger's across the way. That was my second job. I was a bagger at Kroger's. That Kroger's right there, uh, in the Spring Meadows Shopping Center. And I went to the high school. I went to an all guys private high school, St. John's Jesuit, just on the other side of 475. But yeah, that's and I tore up that section of 75. We used to go up to Michigan because Ohio and Michigan had these weird laws about fireworks. Like if you bought them in the state, you couldn't light them off. But if you bought them out of state, that was like the loophole. So along the Ohio-Michigan line, there were all these fireworks factories. And I remember one caught on fire and everything exploded. And okay, so here I'll talk to you about a little bit of my younger age delinquency. So when I was in college, I was working as a tender for my mom's uncle who was a bricklayer. That's where I've learned masonry. I just haven't practiced it in years. But I used to mix up all the mortar and everything. Well, we had a guy who would come on to, a lot of the jobs that we were at because he was doing another thing. And we got to know him. Well, his brother worked at one of those factories. and he would sell fireworks and was like, "What do you guys want? I can get them. Uh, he'll build them to your specs. Like if you wanted an M80, which are banned, he could still make you M80s." And people would be like, "Oh, I want this and I want this," and these were all guys who most of us were, college age guys, just money that to blow. So I told him you were a bagger at Meyer. Yeah, my grandmother she was a greeter at Myers, the one off I-70, I-475, but in Maumee. But yeah, I said, okay, I want some fireworks, but I want them as loud as possible. I don't want to see like things shooting out. I don't care about colors. I want them as loud as possible. And he was like, okay, okay. And I remember I paid $15 and I got 3 of them. And I mean, these things, they came in a tube. It looked like it was a little bit thicker, but it looked like a toilet paper tube. That's how big they were. And in the middle was a wick. And he sold them to me and he goes, okay, here's what I'm going to tell you about these. He goes, if you want those to be the loudest as possible, he goes, get some fishing line and hang it from like a tree branch or something. Don't light it and throw it on the ground because the ground will take up the concussion, take up a lot of the concussion impact. So I bought them because we were going camping and we had fun. We blew 2 of them off while camping, but I kept one more. And, it was during the school year. Me and my roommate, we were drinking one night. It was like a Saturday night. Bars had closed. We were back at our house, sitting on our porch. It's summer, so it's warm out. And we were just bored. And I was like, oh, I have these fireworks. And he's like, I've got one left. I go, but these things are super loud. And he's like, let's light it off. And I go, well, the guy told me I should tie it up to a tree for the loudest impact. Now, when we went camping, we're out in the sticks, so wide open spaces, right? It's a campground, wide open. But where we were was we were in West Toledo, off of a street called Sherbrooke. So if you're familiar with Toledo, and you'd know where that was. So it's all these homes, built in like the 30s and 40s, all fairly close together. It's a neighborhood. And so me and my roommate, we go down the street. And the other thing is he did give me extra wick. So I tied on extra wick around it. So we had a longer wick. And we go down and we hang this thing from a tree. And we light it, and we run all the way back to our house. And, run back. It's a block away, and we're sitting on our porch. And I mean, this thing goes, boom, 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 boom. The echo going off all the houses made it so loud, and all these car alarms start going off. Like this is like 2 a.m. Just complete and utter chaos. And you're seeing lights come on, and we quick run inside. We're peeking out the windows, and all these neighbors are walking out. They're like, "What the hell was that?" And like 15 minutes later, we've got cop cruisers driving through the neighborhood. Just a couple college students on a Saturday night. That was some of the stuff that we pulled. Well, my coffee is about done. If you are watching, hit the like button. Please share this out because it really helps me. It definitely boosts my watch time if you share it. Thank you so much for all the comments. If you do find any of those veterans communities, and Gail, if you can get me in contact with that one, I would love to help out. We want to do some good stuff for veterans out there and their families. So if there's any veterans families who are looking to do anything, that's all we're about here. And so please, this will still be up on the channel. Feel free to. Which I had someone complain to me that he couldn't find them. I'm like, it's not a video. You have to click a lot. You have to click live to find them. Yeah, or if you just want to give my information to that guy, if you see him, um, I'm perfectly fine with that. Anyone can, if you need to contact me, if you're in any type of crisis or anything, you can find me on the Battle Buddies app. I am one of the mentors there. So if you know a veteran who's in a crisis, go to the Battle Buddies app. But if you want to specifically reach out to me, my DMs are open on Twitter and on Instagram. On Twitter, I'm at Real Vet Nation. On Instagram, I'm at Vet Nation Show. And you can DM me. I get them immediately. If you're trying to reach out to me on Facebook, I might catch it. I might not. I will eventually get back to you. I just might not see it. I Facebook hides the messages. Carl, one of the new council members, is a vet. Excellent. If there's anything he needs help with, let him know. I will happily. This is our mission. But thank you so much all for joining me. Put me into contact with these people. I'd love to do more stuff. Share this, like this. Thank you so much for the comments. Let me know if there's anything I can do to improve. Definitely want to do that. And yeah, I'll be ending this stream. I might come back live later when I'm at the VA, because I might do some stuff there. That would just be from my phone. So I will be around today. But yeah, if you need me, reach out to me. As always, thank you for being worth serving.